All right. Jaden says RD2 or RDR2 is good. So I'm guessing Red Dead Redemption 2 is good. But
Yeah.
man, there are some really annoying aspects in the game, like when the story mode, it randomly changes my weapon. I don't mind annoying characters. It gives them chances to grow the F up and become better people.
That's exactly a description of Ciri, and that's why I love her so much. Like, she is without question my favorite Witcher character, and it's not even close, and it's because of that character arc. But yeah, Red Dead Redemption, it's gameplay wise, it has a ton of issues. I'm not a fan of the gameplay, but the story is just so compelling that I forgive it because gameplay's never been a high priority for me. But yeah, the Red Dead Redemption story, at least the second one, that's the only one I played, is top notch. So I forget.
See,
Most of Rockstar games are like that. Rockstar games are janky as fuck.
They got a lot of problems and always have had.
Uh-huh. But
I'm the
Bethesda,
complete opposite. Gameplay's super high, and then story, I don't really give a shit because it's a video game.
It depends on the game for me.
yeah, some games are intended to be one thing or another, and I think it's good to have the variety, like having a different priority in gameplay over story. But Jaden Hamilton thinks I'm insane for this, but I actually think games are the best medium for storytelling. It gives you as more interaction, more senses are involved. It just capitalizes off every aspect of the human body possible at this time to tell a great story. That's something that a lot of these other mediums aren't capable of. So that's why, I think video games have the greatest potential for telling the best stories.
I guess I could understand that.
Many of you left.
I can understand it, but the best medium would be actually doing it on stage to live with a show.
Well, that might be a personal preference. Like, video games aren't my favorite. I think they have the potential to be the best, though, because stage-wise, you can't get close. Facial expressions are hard to see from that far away sometimes. There are limitations when it comes to that medium.
No, I'm talking about the show going up on the screen and people acting it out.
So you're talking about a movie?
Oh, yeah. Rocky Horror, there's quite a few of them that people used to do that to all the time. You can never
like
get
that.
any more immersive than that.
There's still a lot of limitations when it comes to that. Like, you can only do what's on stage. You can't go to other locations. You're limited by what you can build. There's not a opportunity for CGI, for example. It's every medium has its major limitations, except for video games. At this point, there's really not any limitations beside the technology, and that's always advancing. But stage, I would put stage pretty low on the list, actually, of best mediums. Very low on the list compared to movies, television shows, books.
I
Right?
also am
I'd
with
put it-
Mustaine. I rather watch a stage performance than.
that it's personal preference, though, because yeah, games aren't my favorite, but I think we get the visual aspect, we get the interaction aspect, we get great visuals. You're using your ears, your eyes, your hands. You're just in the movie. You're in the story, and you can make decisions. And the world can feel real and realized, and you get to choose how much you invest into it. And it's long enough that you can tell a really broad story like a television show. You get those longer, bigger arcs.
You would probably like Until Dawn or The Quarry.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Any of the Butterfly Effect games, you should play them.
There's no such thing as a good interactive movie, Jaden Hamilton. They're all garbage. But yeah, no, gameplay, sometimes games can be good game related, but the whole thing about because it's a game, it shouldn't have a good story. Like, I've heard people argue that is this, as soon as there is a story in the game, it's not a good video game. I've heard people argue that, and I think that's completely insane. It's okay for some stuff. It's okay for some stuff to focus. Like, if you want to just play Call of Duty with no story, great, that's for you. But you shouldn't act like something like The Witcher 3, which is heavy story based, doesn't count as a video game because it has a great, compelling, three-dimensional story that's incredibly engaging.
Okay, who said that?
I'll tell you off. I'll tell you offline because it's someone in our sphere.
Say it in the private chat. I need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now. Right meow. Okay, so I've never made that argument. I will skip the fucking story. I will spam the A button and skip story. Oh yeah, He doesn't say it completely like that, but yeah, he'll say stuff like that. But
but like even Jaden Hamilton in one of the comments, he said a game is a game and a movie is a movie. Movies weren't necessarily originally designed to tell great stories. A lot of people at the time probably thought that books were the superior model, but movies have become one of the juggernauts in the medium. It's just a matter of developing the medium to the potential of the storytelling capabilities. Because yeah, just saying it's a movie, it's a movie and a game is a game isn't necessarily an argument. So there's a lot of different options. Some can be good gameplay focused, but there's so much potential for storytelling that is untapped. And like the whole term PlayStation movie game as an insult, I find incredibly short-sighted. Because if that's not what you're interested, cool, you're not the target audience. But to say that it's bad because it's a PlayStation movie game is discounting the value that a video game can offer in telling a great story.
you should play the Quarry. Should 100% play the Quarry.
Mario, Zelda, there's Donkey Kong. There were so many good stories being told in even the earliest video games. That's why people wanted sequels. They wanted that second. They wanted a third. Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Pac-Man Jr. There was stories. There was Saturday cartoons that came along. There was a lot that. No. Video games are a great medium. It's no different than TV or the movies or stage. They are all good mediums for telling the story.
I just think the reason I say it is because it involves the most of the five senses of the body. And you don't have to rely on imagination like you do with books because not everyone has a good imagination. So you got the interactive factor with your hands, you're affecting the story, your sight, your sound, the length. It just got a lot of the factors that a lot of them don't have in full volume.
Length isn't a sense, dude.
Well, so interaction isn't either. So
there's only four senses, okay? In order to get smell, you have to have that's the bonus sense.
You have to have the theater. You have to have a live theater for sense of smell.
Well, they're working on the technology for scent, but my point is it involves the most senses and other avenues of engaging with the story that other mediums aren't currently capable of. And so video games have some of the most memorable stories that I've ever come across. Like Red Dead Redemption 2 is a perfect example of that. A lot of people talk about the emotional impact the finale of Red Dead Redemption 2 has upon you. That's what makes it a timeless game. A lot of these games, like the old Legend of Zelda ones, that's a perfect example. A lot of people remember the story forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a great medium, and I'm just never going to agree with someone who discounts gaming as a storytelling medium entirely, like the person we're talking about in the private chat. And I've encountered other people, not to the same degree as this person, but in other degrees, who like the PlayStation movie game. If anyone uses PlayStation movie game as an insult, I'm fundamentally disagreeing with that person on their video game takes.
So I think that insult is basically I'm playing the game and then it goes to a cutscene and I have to do a quick action and then it goes back to the fighting and then it goes back to another quick action cut to the story. It's like I wanna play the game rather than stopping to tell the story.
Well,
like
that's personal preference. That's why I'm saying it's not like we should only tell story games. It's just
that's
having
why
the
it's
option.
an insult. It
It's
interrupts
just not made for
gameplay
you.
for no reason.
Then it's not necessarily, if you're not interested in a story-based game, which is fine, then maybe it's not made for you. And that's having a target audience is not a bad thing.
I can see it both ways on that argument, though. I mean, I don't
do this. Spam. Skip. I don't even listen to the story half the time.
God of War Ragnarok is considered one of the best games of a long time, the last decade maybe, because of its great story. The same with God of War 2018. That's what people remember about it. Like, I've never come across a person who's like, I love the gameplay of God of War Ragnarok. And nobody says that. They all talk about the story. Whereas the original God of Wars, they always talked about the gameplay. It's just different franchises have different priorities, and I think that's okay.
There's a difference between good story and spam that some of the games put in it. And that's, I see where the point is.
Well, it has to still be of a quality. It still has to be of quality. It's not just have a story in there and then it's good.
Don't give me the choices. Give me the story to go along with it, because I don't feel like making choices. I want a good story with it and be able to play it. Once you start saying, okay, make certain choice, listen to this. It's like, no, I'm with Biggles. Spam button. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Get out of my way.
I really like that aspect of it because you're literally in the story. You're making decisions. You're in the character as much as you possibly can be, considering our current day technology. You're in the story. And if it's well written, all the options are good. Like in The Witcher 3, there are dozens and dozens of different versions of the game. Like nobody's even found all the different variations of the game that's changed based on your decisions. And they're all gold. That's what makes it one of the most memorable, beloved games of all time. Like people still talk about it. It's still trending now after a next gen re-release above a lot of new stuff. It's trending above Hogwarts Legacy right now, and that's what we showed on the roundtable.
Fuck that game.
But
Fuck that game.
Yeah, it should have a combination, Jaden Hamilton, but it still has an imagination. Yeah, you're really good at the imagination, Jaden. So books are your favorite version of it. But a lot of people aren't as good with the imagination. So it offers the most opportunity with the most interactability for the most people.
JB says there was a Street Fighter, the game, the movie, or whatever it was. It was a mess. There was in Mortal Kombat 9, because Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat 9 was trying to be a what did you say earlier? What a PlayStation? What did you say it
game?
was?
PlayStation movie
it was
game.
trying to be a PlayStation movie game, is what Mortal Kombat 9 was trying to be. I just want to kick the shit out of people in Mortal Kombat. Stop fucking going straight to cutscenes after every fight.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit. It's Mortal Kombat. I want to beat the fuck out of you. That's why I go play Mortal Kombat.
Exactly. It depends on the franchise. Just like with the Godzilla movie, you don't want the human storyline. You want monsters fighting monsters. So it does depend. It does depend. But it's just discounting game storytelling as a medium entirely, like a lot of people do, I feel is very, very short-sighted, as it's the largest entertainment industry currently in the world, and it's not even close. It's not even close, and it's only the future is only getting brighter and brighter for this as a storytelling medium. So I'm not going to try to discourage studios from telling good stories, and I don't think other people should too, with insults like PlayStation movie game or like the person we're talking about in chat saying it has a story, therefore it's a bad video game.
Well, in August, supposedly in August, Baldur's Gate 3 fully releases, and that has like in just the first act alone, there's like 500 different outcomes that can happen.
That
Like
sounds awesome.
You can side with the goblins, and if you side with the goblins, you can attack the town. But you can also side with the goblins and then betray the goblins. You can side with the druids, or you can side with the town folks, or you could and like you constantly have different things. And because it is Baldur's Gate, it deals with dice. So if you roll a nat one, your stuff just changed, you know. So
That sounds great.
I'm looking forward to it. I think they just added paladins in the last patch, or not paladins. No, I think it was paladins. So I have to go back and try it with the paladins. I've tried it. I've redone the first act like every time there's a new character and just play it. Yeah. But I don't go to the second act which they released. I just wanted to because there's so much shit that can happen.
Yeah, it depends on the game, but that sounds like one that a story really benefits it and the different options benefit it. And like another example of criticism that I don't think is very well thought out and is very short-sighted is the whole idea of, oh, if they wanted to tell a story, why didn't they just make a TV show? Well, TV show offers different perks and different drawbacks than a video game was. So like God of War works way better as a video game than it would as the television show, even in the best case scenario. So just saying, oh, it had a story, so why not be a television show? Well, maybe the video game medium was the better option for telling this specific story.
Yeah, they tried that. It's called Witcher body odor.
Exactly. So it just depends on the product, depends on the story, and there's a lot of variations, but discounting it entirely is incredibly short-sighted in my opinion. And basing your criticism off just the aspects of the story in one way or another is trying to downplay one of the biggest avenues of the future of storytelling, and it's delivered me some of my favorite stories of all time, at least in recent years. They've all been video games in recent years because you're in it. It's just got so much potential, and I know I'm in the major minority when it comes to that, but it's just something that I can't understand why people are so adverse to storytelling in games. It's okay if that's not for you, but for some other people, it is, and it's a great opportunity to tell stories.
This is more for your generation, your age. This is, your movies for you. For a lot of people my age and, up to probably about when you were born, it was movies, TV, sitcoms, theater, you
Well, that
getting the
was the
movies.
most
So they're,
superior medium. That was the superior
yeah.
medium at the time. That's where the technology was at. Gaming technology wasn't superior enough to offer such a thing
And
as the
there are
Alright.
criticisms to be had in all of it. I mean, if you want to know
Mhm.
the best medium for, entertainment and the best game out there right now, it's called Twitter. If you look at it as a game, it's fun.
As a game, yeah, it's pretty funny.
All right, you guys, as much as I would love to say and talk shit about stories in video games, I'm going to go play a game that's very heavily on the story and stream it.
Hubert?
So, no, Fire Emblem. That it's like 20. I want to say there's 20 games now if you count all the ones in Japanese. No, 15. I don't know how many. I don't even know if you count, or maybe it's. There's side Fire Emblem games. There's how many Fire Emblem games are there? 17. There's 17 of them. All right,
Wow.
I'm going to go play that because I'm only streaming it and I freaking desperately want to play it. So I gotta go.
All right, take it easy, man. Thanks for coming.
See you guys later. Have fun. Don't do anything I want to do. So kill that little kid right there.
I'll
Right
do my
there.
best.
Murder him.
I'll do
Murder
my
him.
best.
Cold blood. All right.
Yeah, bagels.
All right. Fine.
See ya.
Maybe it's a mental cesspool. It's a playground. Mess with people that have heart attacks real easy, and then start crying and complaining about you. Basically, if you're a parent, you can do anything on Twitter and get away with it because you've already had to put up with whiny babies.
Yeah.
Can I help you somehow?
Now, Twitter can be fun sometimes. I'm getting more involved with it recently after Adam got on, but still, I still avoid it most of the time. But Jaden Hamilton, yeah, Devil May Cry is a good example of different priorities. Like, even with The Last of Us, the basic story is very basic in The Last of Us. It's all about the characters, just like you're talking about with Devil May Cry. Sometimes the characters are the best. And with video games, you can get engaged with the characters in a way that a lot of other mediums don't allow you to, as you can become the characters as well to a certain extent. It just really depends on the story.
Hey, yo, are you feeling what I'm doing up in here? Oh, I know you are. Do you miss all the good, compelling stories that we used to get back in Hollywood that they ain't putting down no more? Oh, I know you missing it. So check out my book series, Odyssey of a Phoenix, a mythological epic about philosophy, morality, and modern-day mental illness issues, baby. Book 1, Down in Flames. Book 2, Apocalypse Then. These are currently on sale. What are you waiting for? Get your hands on them. And we got Book 3, Kill the Dark, is coming down the pipeline. Just wait for all the good stuff that's dropping. You ain't gonna be disappointed, fam.